Good afternoon from the Pyramids of Giza. We are here on the back of camels. But let's start from the beginning because we didn't come all the way from Sharm on a camel. Good evening everyone.
Good evening everyone.
It's 11 PM. We are standing outside waiting on a bus because we are heading from Sharm El Sheik to Cairo tonight on the bus.
Yesterday we flipped a coin to decide whether we were going to catch a plane to Cairo or catch a coach to Cairo, and the coach won. So we are now heading for around about an 8-hour trip during the night, which will arrive in Cairo around about 7 o'clock in the morning, ready for a big tour of the pyramids, the Sphinx and a river cruise, which sounds absolutely amazing. I actually think it would be better. I would be able to get sleep rather than waking up in the middle of the night for a flight. Because although flights are amazing and someone says 2 hours, we all know by the time you get to the airport, check through, get out the other end, probably more like a 5 hour, and then we had to get ourselves into Giza. So I think this is a great way to do it. And from a cost perspective, £55 or 260 each, which I think is some difference.
Initially I'd wanted to fly, but James on a cost basis had wanted to get the bus. So really when there's only two of us, we have to find ways of making decisions, and flipping a coin seemed like the easier way. Now on reflection, I know we haven't done the journey yet, but on reflection I think this might work out better because we're leaving here at 11 PM. Now if we were flying, we'd be leaving the hotel probably about 3:30 AM, and if I think about it, that's maybe more disruptive to our sleep than just trying to get a rest on the coach. So hopefully it'll be good.
We need visas, yes.
And I'm Nicola.
And I'm
and
James.
This is James.
One visa, 31.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we only have Egyptian money.
Egyptian money?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So we're starting off in a small bus and then we're getting moved onto a bigger bus. Just now we're sorting out visas because we didn't sort that out at the airport. We weren't entirely sure we would do this trip or not. And you don't need a visa to come to Sharm El Sheik, but to go anywhere else in Egypt you do need one. It's all very unusual. The driver has our passports and the people behind us identity cards, and he's just stopped a car on the way. You hold it close, I know.
This seems a little bit dodgy. I'm not sure we're going to see our passports again.
Well, James, it's 1 AM. Did you expect this?
No. I just really quite regret throwing that coin. Not involved this at all.
Do you know what I'm thinking about it? I should be okay because I've done these bus trips before with busloads of kids down to Alton Towers. So at least I'm getting to go on a bucket list place and not just Alton Towers. So I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But
I think
it doesn't feel great.
no, it doesn't. What I would say is it puts right in the young good light.
Well, settle in. We were told it was 6 hours on the bus, but it feels like we've just heard other news. It might be 8 hours on the bus.
So we left the hotel at 11 o'clock, so 2.5 hours later, and we're still in Sharm after getting round the town, having our passports taken off us to get us a visa, and we've yet to see the passports or the visa yet, so slightly worried. I'm sure it'll all be okay, but it just doesn't quite feel right. It all feels very, very dodgy. Do you agree?
I do agree. It was all very odd. So we stopped at the side of the road essentially. The man took our passports, he crossed over the road, kind of hung about on the other side of the road, then spoke to somebody in a car and then came back. And it just feels unclear how this is turning into visas for us.
Yes.
And the fact that we're now moved onto a bus, the minibus that brought us here is away and we don't have our passports. That feels, you can't help but feel uneasy.
Yeah, definitely.
In that situation.
Fingers crossed it'll all be okay. Which I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I certainly feel quite a lot of tension on the bus, if I'll be honest. Just from people coming on and sitting. Or are they just tired? Getting around Sharm for 2.5 hours. If I'd known it was this bad, probably wouldn't have even chanced the dice. We'll keep you up to date on this dodgy bus ride.
Do you know, if nothing else, if we're able to create a good video that you can see before you come to Sharm,
Yep.
and make a decision as to whether you want to get the bus or not, then that's good. We've done a good thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to approach it with that positivity and assume it'll all be fine, and know that I'm sharing some good information for you as viewers.
And well, prepared to take one for the team.
Yeah, I think this is taking one for the team.
So I've just spotted a security guard coming on the bus with a gun. So I'm wondering if it is quite one of the trips that has got risk.
And we're moving. But we don't have our passports. Should we tell somebody?
لا
James?
Thank you.
أنا
Nicola? Yeah. Good news. We've got our passports back, but it's now 2 in the morning. And we're still in Sharm El Sheik.
But the good news is we've got a seat each, so it should be a comfy ride. Well, this is unexpected. It's the middle of the night in the desert, and we come across the rest house. Let's have a look.
ايوه يا باشا اتكلمت زي ما بكلمك كده بالظبط بس يعني عشان بقى
With mosque.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling?
Probably better than I thought I'd feel. Probably went in quite fast, to be fair. Total desert all the way up here. Just I was like surprised at the checkpoints. Maybe I shouldn't be, but there was just checkpoints and security bits all up the road, just in the middle of the desert. Some of it was just a bit like, oh, it's a bit tense, but I think that's just used to it here.
In what way tense?
Just getting bus checked and opening the bus up and looking inside the luggage areas of the bus. I think you were sleeping.
Yeah, I slept for quite a lot of it. I don't look like I slept for any of it. But I slept for quite a lot of it, which I was glad about. Obviously woke up a good few times, but I feel I slept for longer than I was awake.
So we're nearly there, and it will be amazing. It'll be amazing to see pyramids, so looking forward to it. But certainly coming into Cairo, it's a huge city. Same as any big city, there'll be good bits and rougher bits to it. But it's absolutely huge. And we've just hit rush hour, so it's absolutely heaving. But something funny I noticed is, well, maybe not funny, because there's people sweeping the side of the motorway here. This is a motorway going through the actual city. There's people sweeping the motorway at the side. It's so dangerous. I just can't believe it. It's like,
yeah, when you're saying a motorway, I mean at different points the number of lanes have changed, but at different points there were 8-lane motorways with a wee guy with a brush. Feels like an unusual approach to health and safety.
yes, totally.
هو محمود قال لي ابعت له بقى ماما انا معاه 31 زبون ايطالي.
We're at our first stop here, and I believe it's the Egypt Museum, but I'm really not sure. I think the great thing is having this tour, there's a feeling of trustworthiness about it. We're getting taken to the museum, we'll get taken to the pyramids. We just might not have found this easily by ourselves, and we might have been unsure to get into taxis and things, so I think there's been a real advantage to this.
And I think the thing is, according to other people who've been here, everyone works at the pyramids and everyone's telling you need a permit for this, a permit for that. You're not allowed to film, so you need to buy a ticket. There's lots of scams happening, so it's just great to actually be with a group and with a company taking you to all the right places that you want to see in Cairo.
So while I'm glad we do have a guide, so far it feels like the guides are maybe from The Apprentice.
Yes, definitely. Very few words, very few directions, and we'll just need to pay attention.
And the words that have been said are in Italian.
Yes. Just as well you've been taking Italian.
Well, just as well for Duolingo.
Yes.
But it is a bit tricky.
What I do find, that even though you can through loads of checkpoints, there's lots of officials about, police, they are friendly.
Yes.
You say hello and they're smiley and they're chatty.
Okay.
It's nice.
Everyone has been really friendly, even the man in security there was saying welcome, welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Buongiorno italiani.
I feel like Indiana Jones.
Definitely Indiana Jones here. This is amazing, isn't it?
Look at the size of this museum, and they're replacing it. They're building a new one at Giza. Rubbish, isn't it? Obviously there's so many interesting things here, but something that has struck both of us is that the guide has said they're not entirely sure, despite all the Egyptologists, they're not entirely sure how the pyramids were built, and they are saying that there's a technology beyond what we have today, and where did that technology come from, and where has it gone? But of course he said there are all sorts of theories about that, including aliens. He did mention it, but I don't think that was his favourite theory.
No. Just a difference in technology that we don't have.
It's our bus. We're going on a boat trip on the Nile now, which is exciting. When growing up, when you were learning about the Egyptians and you always heard about how important the Nile was to them, it's just great to be here, isn't it?
Absolutely phenomenal. This is stunning, the Nile.
The Nile is what allows Egypt to exist.
Yes, totally.
More than 60% of Egypt is desert, and it's the Nile that is the life of Egypt, and without this river then Egypt couldn't exist.
Yep. I don't know why I hadn't really thought what to expect in the Nile. It's a lot bigger than expected, but it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Certainly looks a lot cleaner than the Chao Phraya in Bangkok.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I didn't realise it was a party cruise on the Nile. Wow. This trip is just getting better and better. It started off early, but you know, fully weekend, it's an absolute cracking day. I couldn't have expected the day to go any better. Wow. Gates are brilliant, the place is brilliant, it's just fabulous. Really enjoying it, isn't it? I would definitely recommend coming on a guided tour.
It's like lots of cities though, isn't it? Lots of the buildings round about it are pretty rough. But then you've also got the tallest building in Egypt is on this Nile. You've got the presidential palace is on the Nile. So it's just such a mix. I still haven't decided who's responsible for this tour. Is it Trotter Tours? Is it The Apprentice? I'm not sure, but so far it has been fun.
Absolutely brilliant, really, really good. Everyone's really lovely and so friendly. Great tour.
Just listening to this song. It's everywhere we go. I love it. I think it's going to be our early retirement song.
هناك الناحية الثانية الناحية يلا بينا
What? How is that for precision parking? This is great for lunch.
That's good.
I definitely feel. What have you got these for?
Just traditional, isn't it? For us, so
You just thought that's the way to look.
goes outside of the pyramids, show
Brilliant.
appreciation.
Okay. Incredible, aren't they? Incredible. Good afternoon from Giza. Today we are at the pyramids, one of the ancient wonders of the world. And I tell you what, getting up close and personal with them is amazing. They are absolutely cracking. And you just can't really quite comprehend how they were actually made. No matter which way you look at them, you think that is a technology that does not exist nowadays. Because why have we never done it again? It is amazing. And I was hearing that they used to have gold tops to them before it was stolen many years ago. But even so, they look amazing. It's looking a lot more organised than I thought. I thought from the stories I've heard about coming to the pyramids, it'd be absolute mayhem. Actually feels pretty good. It's not, you're not really getting bothered that much. The odd person trying to put a scarf in your head, but it's like everything else you just say no.
We didn't really need a camel, did we? We could have just walked here.
Do you know, I know. That's what I was saying. I just feel like,
Because we could have made it as though we couldn't.
Yeah, I reckon what he's done is he's took 10 or 12 and bought it for 2 or whatever, and he's made a little drink.
Whoa! Whoa! See ya!
Bye!
I want to be here. Yeah. Are you okay? Hello. Hi. Hello. Don't you baby, don't think about it.
انا مش عارف يا جماعه يعني انت شغلك راكب هو لو رجع مش هيتكلم في حاجه.
Well, James,
اي حد يجاب له كله مات.
what do you think of this?
It's fun.
I don't
Like camels.
usually get a camel ride. But it feels, if you're doing it anywhere, the Pyramids of Giza would definitely be the place.
I can do it from here.
No, yeah. Oh, smile! Smile! Are you smiling? Are you smiling? Let's see you smiling. Hey! Hey! You gorgeous?
Hello! From the pyramids here in Giza. I always find a camel quite a difficult thing to ride on, to expect to get used to. Before I came here, I had an expectation that it would be relentless and you would consistently just be scammed or bored to people. It's not been like that. It's actually been really decent. People are asking you, do you want a scarf, do you want to buy something, but the minute you say no thank you, they leave it at that. And the lovely gentleman on the camel took us to a brilliant picture point, took lots of brilliant pictures for us, but didn't set a price. He was like happy for a couple hundred Egyptian pounds. I gave him 400, 200 each. I felt as though he took some cracking pictures, and why not? But you know, I didn't feel conned, didn't feel under ransom as you can sometimes in these places. It felt really safe, and I felt from the guide we get really good advice before we come off the bus, which was fantastic as well. So what a cracking experience. The whole day's been cracking, hasn't it?
Really has.
But they definitely saved the best for last.
Absolutely. What a day we've had. We're going to have a walk around and get a look at these up close and personal. It's incredible. These are 3,000 years old. The pyramid behind me is the Pyramid of King Menkaure, and that's actually the smallest of the 3 large pyramids that are here. Over 3,000 years old. the technology to build it doesn't exist anymore. I mean, those blocks behind us are actually pink granite, and even now people are questioning how did they get that granite from Aswan all the way up the Nile in a boat. How did they do that? And then even more so, how did they build it? And no one really has an answer for it. And the pyramid directly behind us is the Great Pyramid, and the largest of all the pyramids here on the Giza Plateau.
It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Look at it.
You can go inside. You can go inside both of these, but we've been advised that it's not that great when you're in. You essentially walk through a long, low-ceilinged corridor and you get to an empty chamber. So apparently it's not that great and not really worth the time to do that. And in fact, you're probably better to enjoy them from outside as we are doing. That's what we've been advised.
Yep.
So we're going to take that advice. Perhaps if it came another time, might feel a bit differently. But all the advice we've had so far has been good, so we've no reason to doubt it.
Absolutely, because I'm sure the guys would have been quite happy to sell us another ticket for them, so we have definitely had the right advice. And taking the camels was amazing, wasn't it? Got to the correct points of being able to...
Totally, I'm not a fan of taking camels, and originally we'd signed up for a carriage, but when we realised the carriage was one pony pulling 3 adults, we quickly swapped to a camel, because at least that's a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't know how I feel about it, I don't usually do it because I usually feel just a bit uncomfortable about it, but I've done it today and it was a really enjoyable experience.
It was. I think it's a day, it's been a really enjoyable day, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Right, so the Pyramid of Giza is the one behind this one. It's the one that's slightly bigger behind. Its height is 43,200 times higher than the diameter of the Earth, and the circumference of the Earth is 43,200 times bigger than the perimeter of the pyramid. So the pyramid is on scale to the Earth to a scale of 1 to 43,200, which is not a random number. It's a multiplication of the amount that the Earth wobbles on its axis. And you can look into a guy called Graham Hancock. He explains this a lot better than I can. But what a marvel, what a marvel. If they put one stone out of place and by the time you get to the top the whole thing's crooked and twisted, absolute genius.
This is the downside of a tour. We're getting rushed, we have to hurry up to get on the bus.
And there was no rush last night.
Yeah, that's true, there was no rush last night, there was no rush at the paper factory, but we're getting rushed at the highlight of the whole trip, which feels a bit disappointing. But the whole thing really has been a dream.
I think it's been absolute bliss. What a place. It is a dream that has not disappointed, and a place we will definitely come back to.
So the Sphinx was designed and built to protect the necropolis. There's something really interesting here. So to the east of the Giza Plateau and the pyramids and the Sphinx is just a really populated city. The city of Cairo with 22 million inhabitants, so it is huge. But then to the west of it, all you've got is desert all the way to Libya.
Which is absolutely, you can't quite get your head around it, can you? You can't get head around how many people live here, and then why do they not live in a place that's got no population? They don't live together. Human beings.
One, human beings, and two, it speaks to the importance again of the Nile.
Of course it does.
And how important the Nile is for life.
Yep.
For irrigation, for transportation, and without that river, Cairo wouldn't exist.
And life wouldn't exist really as we know it.
So interesting.
Oh my goodness, this feels as chaotic as it did last night.
Oh, are we going Sharm El Cliff? Sharm El Cliff? No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Somebody. You can look with the guide. Guide where?
Hello.
Sharm El Cliff.
Sharm El Cliff.
Sharm El Sheik, yes?
Yes, yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. So it's been a long journey,
Yep, very long journey.
but it was great fun.
Yeah, really, really good. Great to see the pyramids.
Really fantastic. Now we're on the very last leg of our journey now. Back in the minibus. What time is it?
Quarter to 1.
1:45 in the morning. The last leg of the journey. We're back in a small bus and we're heading back to our hotel.
I think in total it took us about 26 hours.
But we're not home yet.
Not home yet. 11 o'clock last night we picked up. 26. Maybe 27 hours. A long
You have
trip.
to get front stand. Can you
But
get
27 hours in total from getting picked up at a hotel last night to getting dropped off now. Seems quite a big journey, but it's worth it. Great to see, a dream of a lifetime, and I look forward to showing you what we've captured.
I'm looking forward to my bed.
Yes, me too.
Well, it's 1 AM. We left here exactly 26 hours ago. In those 26 hours we spent 16 on the bus as we travel here from Sharm El Sheik all the way up to Cairo. We've got to see the Egyptian Museum, and most importantly we got to see the pyramids, a bucket list item for anyone.
Absolutely, they were absolutely fantastic. Just still can't get my head around the size of them and how they actually got here. Wow.
So the big question on my lips, we flipped that coin. Was that coin a good omen or a bad omen?
I think it's a good omen because the trip went really well. Really well. Nice people. It went really well. And then today you can sleep in the bus. So once you're on your bus, that's you're sorted, aren't you? And you can sleep the way back. We were lucky, we had a seat each, double seat each, so that was really good for reclining and going to sleep. So that was comfortable.
Yes,
Get sleep.
it was I think it was
That was
okay.
good. That was good.
Do you know, I have spent that length of time on a bus before.
Last week.
Yeah, I've spent that length of time in a bus just last week. I've spent that length of time in a bus many times. So maybe I'm just used to slumming it and I was quite happy. But honestly, I think it was fine.
Well, met two young guys from Nottingham, absolute class, brilliant, but they knew how to do it. They'd take the duvets for the hotel and the and the pillows. So next time I do it, that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, just a plan to how we're going to ensure we're comfy. So one final question and then we will say goodnight and end this video. Would you do it again?
No.